Good evening. I'm going to start this one by talking a little bit about my process. Uh, the average video takes between half an hour and 45 minutes to shoot, and then there's about 20 minutes of immediate reviewing. And then the editing process, which takes between 1 and 3 hours, and then an extra hour to publish, not counting 2 or 3 final reviews after it's been edited, but before it's been rendered, which that process takes a good long while as well, and all the countless little micro reviews I do throughout the entire editing process. So right now we're up to hours, and that doesn't include finding something to respond to and scripting it. So the from blank page to finished production could take days. The entire process sometimes does take several days to get it just right. Now, so when I say things like this, a bit of a history lesson to start things off, since most of you took more than 6 years to find me, assholes. And then I get a comment like, well, maybe if you didn't release a video once every 6 years, we might have found you sooner. Well, that's why it takes so long, number one. Number two, way on back in 2010, I was releasing videos at about a rate of about 1 video a night. So your excuse doesn't fucking hold up. You can go fuck the dog. I've lost respect for you as a person, and it sickens me that we're the same species. Now that that's out of the way, recently, and I'm pleased to announce this, a new website was just launched. It's called Problematic People. It was launched by the Woolly Bumblebee and her husband, Mr. Woolly Bee. And I'm pleased to announce that I am a contributor to that website. So, if it's been a while and you need your fix, you can head on over to problematicpeople.com, and maybe that'll hold you over till the next video. Speaking of problematicpeople.com, this video is a companion video to an article that I've just had published to that website. The article is entitled Outrage Culture, The Silence of the Lambs, and you can find a link to it in the description of this video. Now, if you just want to watch this video, or if you want to watch this video first, I'll set things up for you. Part of my duties over at Problematic People is to rampage, and I was given permission to write whatever I wanted to, and that's kind of like giving dynamite to a Grendel, but nevertheless, here we are, and I've been kind of pushing the boundaries even in just the 2 articles that I have published so far. Mr. Woolly Bee, like, that's more swearing than I'd like out of a sailor during peacetime, and what was the other one? I'm gonna have to label this one not safe for work. You can't call somebody a dog fucker in the title, you know, which, you know, it's amusing. It's great because I have the distinction of not only being the first person to have an article published to the website that has been declared not safe for work, but I'm also, as it stands at the time of this recording, the only person to have an article published that has been tagged as not safe for work. So, yay for me. So anyway, I was looking back through some back articles on a website called feministing.com, and I came across one by somebody named Joss Truitt. Joss, J-O-S. Joss Truitt. And it was in response to yet another article published on Bitch Media, which was celebrating 25 years of The Silence of the Lambs, as Clarice Starling is a great feminist hero, and, you know, that's true. She's a strong, independent woman who goes out and kicks ass and takes names. Great for Starling. However, this didn't fly well with Truett, who sees the film The Silence of the Lambs, one of my favorite films, and by extension the novel The Silence of the Lambs, one of my favorite books, as, of course, problematic. Silence of the Lambs and its author, Thomas Harris, are trans-misogynistic because they paint the antagonist, Buffalo Bill, as this horrible, twisted, trans person going out and killing people. Great. Now I'm going to be talking about The Silence of the Lambs as though you have either already seen the movie or read the book, or both. Because the movie's been out for 25 years, the book's been out for almost 30, and if you're watching this video first, it's your fault that I spoiled it. Joss's entire argument rests on one attack. It was an attack on a line delivered by Lecter. We all remember the line, our Billy is not a true transsexual. He thinks he is. He tries to be. And another line delivered by Starling that transsexuals are passive. Joss finds this line to be sexist, but in spite of the fact that that is the correlative, it's true. It's a fact. Her entire argument is that The Silence of the Lambs is transphobic, transmisogynistic, it does not stand the test of time, and that all relies on Buffalo Bill actually being a transsexual. Now, she goes on to support her argument, to say things like, for years, trans people have been oppressed by the patriarchal medical gatekeepers, etc. And you can see how this is going, I'm sure. Truett's actually trying to paint Buffalo Bill as a victim. One thing that was omitted from the film, unfortunately, but was covered in some detail in the novel, was the battery of tests that a trans person has to go through before the sexual reassignment surgery. And they include multiple personality tests, multiple tests, not tests for multiple personalities. Although I'm sure multiple personality disorder would be screened out through these tests. Self-concept tests, and an IQ test. And I know what you're thinking. Why should we discriminate based on IQ? Okay, let's handle that. So we're going to draw a parallel using another topic, a favorite of all feminists, rape. Now, I can't speak for every state in the Union, and therefore I cannot speak for every nation in the world. However, I can speak for Pennsylvania, and I assume that most other states' laws kind of fall in line with this. So, what we're looking at, in order to be rape, it has to be non-consensual sex with any of the following: force, threat of force, the victim is unknowingly drugged, or what we would commonly call date rape, fucking an unconscious person, or fucking a retard. And that last one is the one that I want to focus on. People with serious mental conditions cannot consent to sex. Fine. So why should we let these people consent to serious, life-altering, irreversible, elective surgery? These tests are all here for a reason. It's to make sure that you know who you are, you know where you are, and you know what you're seeking to do. Oh, but those oppressive medical gatekeepers, oh, they make all these rules. It's my body, it's my choice. Great. Let's take another parallel. Let's say that somebody wants to have a pony's face grafted onto their abdomen. Their body, their choice. Well, I guess the pony didn't have much of a choice, but whatever. Their body, their choice. Great. Except you still have to find a surgeon somewhere that's willing to complete that surgery. Now, Truett goes on to say that the character Buffalo Bill suffers from, autogynephilia, which apparently is a state of being sexually stimulated just by being a woman. And that's what Buffalo Bill has, and because of this, he would have been screened out as not a true transsexual. So that brings us back to those lines from the book and the film. Transsexuals are very passive. He's not a true transsexual. He thinks he is. He tries to be, etc. That brings us back to here. The whole true transsexual argument. Unfortunately, again, this was omitted from the film, but in the book, which is extremely close to the film, and I believe that has a lot to do with Thomas Harris demanding control over his work, in the book, Hannibal Lecter and Clarice Starling talk on 2 occasions about how lupus presents as hives and how anger sometimes appears as though it's lust. I mean, we've all seen it. You really got a hard-on for that guy. And it doesn't just stop there. We can list all kinds of things that seem like one thing but are actually something else. I think the most universal of them all would be, think way on back to grade school. If you were a little girl in grade school and the boy came along and tugged on your pigtails, okay, you might have told your teacher, you might have told your parents, and they might have told you the same thing. That means he likes you. Now, of course, this is confusing as a child, but it's ultimately the case, isn't it? All serial killers share many common pathological traits. For example, consider this hypothetical. A woman's mother dies. A woman goes to the funeral, her sister's in attendance, several other family members, and a man that the woman has never seen before, has no idea how she's connected to her mother. And this vexes her for quite some time, and 2 weeks later, the woman kills her sister. Why? If you want the correct answer to this, you're going to have to go read my article. The point of that line, our Billy's not a true transsexual. The point of that line is actually the point of the movie, is that the FBI is not hunting a man who thinks he's a woman. The FBI is hunting a monstrous psychopath who's jealous of women. We all remember that line, he's not a true transsexual. But what about, what's the first and principal thing that he does? He covets. He covets the very thing that you are. And how do we first begin to covet? Do we seek things out to covet? True it? Make an effort to answer now. No, we covet what we see every day. Our Billy is not a true transsexual. He is a monstrous psychopath who has abducted and brutally murdered several women. And, of course, was making a suit out of their skin. This presented as transsexualism, but was not the case. But let's say that it was. Let's say that Buffalo Bill really was the victim here. Let's say that let's say that Buffalo Bill was oppressed by these patriarchal medical gatekeepers. Let's say that's the case. Maybe he was turned down because he wouldn't pass. If we're going to say that, then the conclusion to Truett's argument is inescapable. And that's that a man who identifies as a woman, who is also turned down for sexual reassignment surgery for whatever reason, it would be understandable, if not justified, that that man goes out and abducts and brutally murders several women and makes a suit out of their skin. So if you're a fiction writer, remember this handy little tip from feminists. Your villain can never ever be any marginalized demographic. They all have to be straight, white, cis males, or else your work will be a little problematic. Let's give this a little bit of time and then watch them complain that certain groups aren't represented enough. Little known fact about me, I was actually at one time up for the part of Buffalo Bill in The Silence of the Lambs, the musical. It puts the lotion on its skin, it does this when it's told. It puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose. It does this every single fucking time I fucking ask it. And then it puts the fucking lotion in the fucking basket.